What's up, guys? How are you? It is time for a Tuesday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Peralt. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt, and this podcast is being brought to you by our friends at DraftKings. New Pick 6 players. You play $5, you get $50 instantly in Pick 6 credits with the promo code JUICE at sign-up. Well, it's just been one of those unfortunate couple of days. So the clock issue with Washington and the New Orleans Saints, that cost us a winning day yesterday. And a blocked extra point in the Raider game, unfortunately, that ended up costing us a winning day here on Monday. Vikings cover easily. Raiders push. Raiders should have lost by 5, but they missed the extra point. 2 punts blocked and 1 field goal extra point blocked. The Raiders need to fire their special teams coach. Yikes. The over was never even possible. Jacoby Myers wound up with 58 yards receiving. He almost got there for us. It was crazy. He had nothing until the last 2 drives, and then he almost got over. Almost got there. Got to 58. And Dunze under 43.5 came in. He had 38 yards. So we wound up 2-2-1 on the night, down 0.2 units. That stinks, but it's not a horrible way to start the week. We have a long week to go here as we roll to a Tuesday. I've got 3 bets in 3 sports. NBA Cup, the first bowl game bet of this season, and a college basketball bet that I like quite a bit. But before that, let's talk about our friends at Omaha Steaks. All right, guys. This company has been a sponsor of the Daily Juice for a while, and what it means right now, well, it's the holidays. Omaha Steaks is the perfect gift to deliver comfort and the joy to those who you love. With curated gift packages, Omaha Steaks consistently deliver unrivaled quality and taste, hand-selected with master butchers from the finest grain-finished beef, extra age, flash frozen at peak flavor, and delivered right to you. And right now, you can deliver the perfect gift with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, Daily Juice listeners get an extra $30 off with their promo code JUICE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply. Give the gift of comfort and joy with Omaha Steaks. Go to omahasteaks.com. 50% off site-wide on unforgettable gifts and more. And an extra $30 off with the promo code JUICE at checkout. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com. An extra $30 off with the promo code JUICE at checkout. Minimum purchase may apply. Okay, NBA Cup tonight in Vegas. I might go. I don't know. I might go. I might be there. I don't know. Good game. Bucks and the Thunder. The Bucks have been good recently. I like them a lot going into the regular season, but look, they were bad for a good part of the year. Bucks, though, have won 3 in a row here in the NBA Cup. They have now won, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 of 12. So they've turned things around. Oklahoma City's just been blisteringly hot. Last time they lost was against Houston on the 1st of December. Since then, they have won and covered every game. 5-0 straight up, 5-0 ATS. Winning by 27, 37, 10, 14, and 15 points. They've covered by 13.5, 26.5, 2, 9.5, and 9.5. They laid 5.5 against Houston over the weekend, and they won the game by 15, covering by 9.5 points. They are 9-4 ATS away from home. They are 12-9 against the West, but this is against Milwaukee, who is an Eastern Conference team. Milwaukee is 6-6 ATS away from home this year, and they have covered just once in their last 3 games here. I'm not going to overthink this. I'm going to lay the 5 points with Oklahoma City here. I think they're young, hungry, and they want the NBA Cup. I don't think it's not that Milwaukee doesn't want it, but it's Doc Rivers in a big game, in a 1-game must-win situation. Sorry. Lay the 5 points. Oklahoma City -5 to win the NBA Cup. Bet number 2. Let's talk bowl games. The Frisco Bowl happening in Frisco, Texas. It is Memphis against West Virginia. Now, most of Memphis's team is going to be in this game. West Virginia lost their coach, Neil Brown, and they've lost at least 11 players to the transfer portal. However, their quarterback will play in this game. And I think that's a pretty big deal here for Garrett Green, who threw for a ton of yards this year, nearly 2,000. He's a guy who can run the ball really well. 5 rushing touchdowns for him. They'll have both of their running backs reportedly available here. But West Virginia's biggest problem is their defense. Their defense just isn't any good. That's why they were 8-4 to the over this year. They were 7-3 over their last 10 games and 4-1 to the over to end the year, including their last game of the year on the road to Texas Tech, where they gave up 52 points. Now, how much was that because they knew Neil Brown got fired and everything else? Fine, but it was the one game at home against UCF went under. But other than that, Baylor flew over. They gave up 49 points to Baylor, 52 points to Texas Tech, 24 points to Cincinnati, 26 points to Arizona, 45 points to Kansas State, 28 points to Iowa State, 38 points to Pitt, 34 points to Penn State. This Memphis offense can score. I mean, they have firepower all over the place here. And even though the level of competition wasn't great for Memphis, I think Memphis' offense is going to be able to move the football here. I mean, Memphis this season averaged over 34 points per game. That's top 15 in the country. They ran the ball at 5.2 yards per clip and for 184 yards per game. They threw for 6.9 yards a pass play and 265 yards per game. That's top 25 in the country. And look, West Virginia's defense gave up 32.6 points per game. That's outside the top 100. 4.3 yards per rush. That's outside the top 60. 9.1 yards per pass play. That's outside the top 130 in college football. But on the flip side, West Virginia can move the football on the ground. 4.4 yards a rush. 7.7 yards per pass play. And they scored 26.6 points per game. I think Memphis wins and covers, but I like the over better because I'm not sure. It's a bowl game. You have an interim head coach. Rich Rod's the new head coach in West Virginia. These kids now, I mean, the transfer portal's open. This is kind of like an audition. You go out and ball out in a bowl game, you could make a lot of money next year if you play really well. I think the offense has come to play here. I don't think we'll see much defense, and I know it's a big number, but I'm going to bet over. It's under 60. If this was 60, I probably would bet under, but at 58.5, I like the over. We're going over 58.5 for Memphis and West Virginia. And again, I think Memphis probably wins just because there's 11 kids opting out of West Virginia's team and maybe more. But it is a Big 12 team. And I do think West Virginia, with the fact that they've got their quarterback back, should be able to move the ball and put points up on West Virginia, on Memphis. But the same thing can be said for Memphis' offense against West Virginia. Let's just play the over. The bowl games gets off to a rocking start. We're going over 58.5 for Memphis and West Virginia. And finally, let's talk college basketball. It is a semi-neutral site for Kansas State and Drake. I think this is the second time we're playing them on Drake. Drake is a 1-point dog to Kansas State. Why? Drake should be favored in this game. Kansas State had a 10-day break for finals. This will be a primary purple audience, okay? They're playing this in Kansas City at T-Mobile. This is going to be, but. Drake is off to a really impressive start. And here's the thing. Ben McCollum won multiple Division II national championships at Northwest Missouri State. He's going to have people in the building, like a lot of people in the building. They're going to be psyched to watch Drake here play Kansas State. K-State's coming off of a game in which in the second half against St. John's, they got whipped. They lost 88-71. K-State has been pretty inconsistent here. So here's the thing for Drake. These players that are now with Drake, they start 4 Northwest Missouri State transfers, okay? They're playing in Kansas City. There's going to be a lot of kids and a lot of parents and a lot of family here who are going to want to watch and make this not as big of a home court advantage for Kansas State. Drake has been really good defensively, like really good defensively. 45th in efficiency, 125th in effective field goal percentage isn't great, but 37th in three-point defense for Drake. Kansas State defense has been okay, but they've been very inconsistent offensively. They're 127th in offensive efficiency. They're 73rd in effective field goal percentage. They're 187th in three-point shooting. So, that's Drake's offense, excuse me. K-State's offense, 88th in efficiency, 50th effective field goal percentage, 57th in three-point shooting, and 105th in two-point percentage. So Drake has played, this is a semi-road game. They've played primarily neutral and home games. But they beat Miami, Florida, they beat Florida Atlantic, and they beat Vanderbilt. I don't want to say they're battle-tested, but they've played teams in the top 100 of KenPom. And K-State is 69th. K-State lost at home to LSU. They lost on a neutral to Liberty, and they lost to St. John's in their last game, and now they're coming off of finals. This has been kind of an old adage about kids in their first game after finals. Sometimes they're sleepy. Sometimes they have a tough time getting back into it because they haven't played for 10 days. They've been hitting the books. They haven't really been looking at basketball as much because they've had finals to get ready. I think Drake wins the game outright, but I'm going to take the 1 point here. Drake +1 here up against Kansas State. I can't wait for this game. There's a lot of good games here today, but I think that game has the potential to be really interesting because, again, we bet a lot of Drake games last year with D-Rock. Now he's at West Virginia, but Drake has a coach that has won consistently, and he has players who have won consistently. And I love when you have, I don't care if it's D1, D2, when you have a knack for winning and you get used to winning, you start to expect it. Drake is 3-1 ATS away from home this year. K-State is 2-2 here. As a dog, K-State caught 4.5 to Vanderbilt, won outright by 11. Against Florida Atlantic, they caught 3. They won by 12. Against Miami, they caught 9. They won by 11. They've been a dog 3 times this year, and they are 3-0 straight up as a dog. Drake +1 for 1.1 units. All right, so our plays here for today. In the NBA Cup Final, OKC -5 for 1.1 units. The over in the Frisco Bowl between West Virginia and Memphis, over 58.5. And we're going Drake +1 in Kansas City against Kansas State in college basketball for 1.1 units. My name is Matt Peralt. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt. Every morning, it's the Daily Juice Podcast presented by DraftKings.